RC4Us Squad, Mike with another new car video. This time it's the Outcast 4S. What are they calling this? A V2.5 is what everybody's saying. The new updated version. Now this isn't going to be your normal unboxing because they've already done unboxings. I just wanted to get the truck out, take a look at it, show you really quick what it comes with. The controller, another one of these cards, batteries, some tools, the instruction manuals. Every time I get a new car, I do the same thing. I always check it over. Checking this car over, it felt like the shocks were really, really low. So I'm going into the shocks. I'm going to put what I want in them off the rip. And I'm going to go with some Traxxas 60K. And as far as my diffs, I'm going to go ahead and open those. That way I know what's in them. I know how they're set up. I got some 100K diff fluid for the front and rear. And I'm going to start that center diff on this one with some 1 million. Not real sure what's in there. I think with what I got, I'm doubling what's in all these. I'm pretty sure it's 30 weight in the shocks and 500K in the center diff. So I may be right or wrong about that. I'm not 100% sure. I also know this thing comes with a 13 tooth, so I went to my local hobby shop, picked up a new pinion. I wanted a 17, but I couldn't find it, so I settled for an 18. So let me get the body off this and we'll take a quick look at what's inside this thing, guys. I do have to say, guys, I love the styling. Arrma always nails it no matter. I mean, there's not a car that they have that I don't think the body is mint on. I love them all. They all look good. They do a good job. So everybody knows it's got the new ESC in it. I'm told there's no issues with it like the 6S. There was no issues with my 8S other than not being able to program it with the V2 programmer yet. I am in the process of getting my V2 programmer updated. I don't know if I'll have it done before I get in here and mess with this, but I'm pretty sure the Hobbywing trick works with this as well. This thing does have the center diff in it, guys, so I can't wait to get this out. Check it out. I will bring you guys back in and show you this diff when I have it out and how full it was, what I think was in it, getting it filled back up and whatnot. But I mean, it's a lot similar to the 4S's that I've already shown you guys. I mean, this has a couple new things like the rear mud guards and these high-rise mud guards. Now, a lot of people are talking about the way they have this battery strap in here, and yeah, I agree. This back one is flat, so it's not really such the issue. And when you put a battery in, and I have a battery here, I'll show you, it fits okay. But I think this front one, the way it is, it's got these lips, so it kind of restricts what size battery you put in. Trying to get a good view of it. So I think that I'm going to cut this side off so that it hooks the battery on this side and just runs flat across, like this lays flat across. And I think that'll work at least for the first run or two. I have been talking to somebody about getting some battery straps here for this car and for a couple other cars that I have because I really like what I've been using. Other than that, guys, the new chassis. I have talked to M2C and I know that he is working on chassis braces for these cars. The 4S, Mojave, this, and the new Creighton. All of them he will have bash bars for. He already has the suspension pin plates, the A and D blocks. He's got 6.5 plus millimeter hex adapters. He's got wheel nuts. He's got the new motor plate. He's got the old plate, motor plate. So he's got everything you need. So the reason I'm really getting into these shocks, guys, is you can see, I don't know, it's just like there's a big air pocket in there. That shouldn't do that like that. So let me get the let me get the wheels off of this thing and the shocks off of this thing and get at least the front or the rear opened up and see how low they are, and we'll go from there, guys. I got the wheels off this thing, guys, and it's just so little compared to what I've been playing with lately, seeing as how I got the 8S Outcast that I've been running a lot lately, and then this little thing. I mean, this ain't even the shortest wheelbase Arrma out there, so I do have an idea for a couple builds that I want to do, some custom builds that I am not going to really talk about now, but I will bring up real soon, so be sure you're paying attention to that. So I got the wheels off and stuff, guys. I'm going to get these shocks off of it and then get the truck out of the road so I can just work on the shocks. Okay, guys, so I got the shocks off the truck. I'm going to go ahead and start with these. I'm going to start with the front shocks because they were the ones that I definitely felt like they were low. I got my 60 weight that I'm going to put in these, and I got some green slime so I can hit the O-rings. I'm going to go ahead and pull them all the way apart just so I know that they're set up the way I want them set up. Once I get these apart and can see what the fluid looks inside, I'll bring you guys back real quick and show you what they look like. Okay, guys, so I got one of these apart, and as you can see, it's pretty low on oil right there. So I assume this other one's the same way, and all these are the same way. Now, this isn't really technically how I build them, just because of how much room you end up with inside this cap when the cap's on. And since they give you access to the other side, I take it off from this side and fill it up. That way I can fill it up to where the threads stop on this and get it all the way full. And I can also get to the O-rings and stuff that I need to when I have this side out, because I want to get some slime on them to make sure they're all sealed up good. So let me get these shocks done, guys, and I'll bring you back and let you know what I think, how they feel. Because, I mean, really, they don't feel bad, realistically. I mean, even when they were on the truck, the suspension didn't feel bad unless you had the truck upside down and there's just this little void spot. And what that is probably because they filled them up from here, and that leaves a void. So, we'll see, guys. Okay, guys, so I probably won't be able to show, but if you can see that line at the bottom of those threads, that's how full the oil should be. And when you fill it up to that line and put this all back together, a little bit's going to squish out, but that's okay. Then you know it's all the way full. So this is pretty low. I'm going to get this fluid out of these and get some 60 weight in it, and then we'll see what they feel like. Okay, guys, so I got these shocks all apart and all back together. The rear were just as low, but I think we're good now. The front's done, the rear's done, so we can get those back on and we can get working on the diffs. Before I put the front shocks and rear shocks back on, I'm going to go ahead and pull this center apart and take a look at this center diff, and we'll go from there. So I'll bring you back once I got this module out so we can open it up and take a look at what we got. Okay, guys, so I got the center brace and drive shaft out. I got this motor module out with the center diff, and I was just taking a look at it, and I noticed that on the side that goes into the input, there's not that sleeve that they started using on the 4S cars on the back of this. So I wonder if they're more confident that with this being a diff that this won't split. I know that in all my 3S cars I would take a bearing, inner bearing put on it. That way it had a little more support. So I'm kind of curious as to why they didn't include that with this one, if they just think that the material is stronger. But it looks to be the same material as the slipper was on the input. So I don't know, before I get done with this part of the, whatever you want to call this, the getting it ready, I'm going to decide if I'm going to put one on there or not. So let me get these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws apart. We'll get this center diff out and into our hands. Then I'll be able to put this new pinion on, and we'll be able to get inside this and put some diff fluid in it. Okay, guys, so we got the new pinion in here, which is probably a little hot for it. I put an 18 tooth in it. Like I said, I wanted a 17, but they only had 16 and 18. Also, when messing with this, I found this screw in the side of this heat sink. So they redesigned the heat sink without telling anybody, and now it's got a screw, as you can see, maybe You can see that screw that goes down in there, and that just clamps it together now so it doesn't move around on you. So I got all that done. I got the 1 million in the center diff, and shocks are done. Also, real quick, the battery strap. So this is the back battery strap. So as you can see how it's shaped like that, that does not fit. This does not fit my batteries by any way, shape, or form. No sides of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shave off this side so that it's flush all the way across, and then when I lay it on there, it should just be able to lay flat. Though I am talking to a friend working on getting some battery straps like I have in the Creighton 4S and the Outcast 8S. So before I put this back in, guys, I need to get the front and rear diffs out, which is pretty simple from this point. One screw on the rear bumper and the 2 camber links, and then the screws underneath. Same for the front, just these 2 bumper mounts, and you can pull this down in these 2 camber links, and then the screws from underneath, and we'll get those out, get those checked, and get some 500K in them, get it back together, and then it's time to bash. So the next time you see this, it will be with the diffs out, checking the diffs out real quick just to show you what it looks like and if they're full or not, and we'll get them back in. Okay guys, so I got the front diff out of the truck, got it open. It had fluid in it, not a whole bunch, so let me get some new fluid in it, get it back together, and when I bring you guys back, I will have her all back together.
Go.
Other drivers or pedestrians.
Do it again.
Question 23. In a traffic lane with a shared center turn lane, when is it appropriate to use the shared lane? A. For passing slow-moving vehicles. B.
Okay guys, so she's all back together now. You've seen the little drop test. I love the stance of this thing. The shocks feel great now. I'm sure the diffs are going to be great. I do have a 4S pack in here, so it's fully loaded, like it's ready to rip. So the setup seems good. The setup's done. Now just to get out there and bash it.